Since my viewing of Star Wars The Force Awakens, I've seen some fan grievances suggesting that Kylo Ren was too weak, and that Rey was a Mary-Kate Olsen. Although Rey does a lot of things with the Force that may justify this position, her lightsaber victory over Kylo Ren at the end of the movie is the most repeated critique I've heard suggesting that he ended up being a chump, in contrast to Rey as superhero. To these individuals, I'm sorry, but you've completely missed the point. In this video expose, I will humbly forever put to rest the idea that Kylo Ren was quote too weak because he wasn't a badass like Darth Vader, and humbly unquestionably show once and for all that there were legitimate character reasons for his shortcomings, outside of the blanket argument that Rey was just strong because the script said she should be. Let's begin, shall we? Kylo Ren, aka Jason Solo, is a fascinating character in the Star Wars universe, in that he's the first Sith, or dark side bad guy, to be drawn towards the light, rather than the other way around. Kylo Ren is someone who struggles to commit to either the light side or the dark side. His desire for power and to complete the work of Darth Vader is in conflict with the feelings he still has for his family, i.e., Harrison Solo. Although this is actually expressed in the dialogue from the movie by both Supreme Leader Snoke and Kylo Ren himself, it shouldn't be too surprising. Kylo Ren started his Jedi training under Luke and his dark side training under Snoke, but never really finished either. He's kinda like that weird 25-year-old who keeps switching majors and then finally latches on to a promising degree in communications, which is to say, probably knows very little of anything. But let's boil this down and get to the brass tacks of this video. Kylo Ren as a dark side user is weak, given the feelings he has for his father. These emotions would suppress the anger, hate, and rage that a dark side user would need as the ingredients to become powerful. And this is where Kylo Ren's connection to a powerful Sith, who I guess doesn't really exist anymore, comes together to shine some light on the situation. Who is this Sith I speak of, you ask me? Oh, well perhaps I shall be just a little coy, and make you wait, and his name is Darth Malgus. And so I, with my in-depth knowledge of the canon that's no longer canon, will describe why Kylo Ren's defeat to Rey in The Force Awakens was reasonable and justified given his character. Much like Kylo Ren, Darth Malgus was a Sith Lord, who although already a great and powerful Sith in his own right, was initially weakened in his potential on the basis of emotions he had for another. However, in Darth Malgus's case, it wasn't the love for his father that caused conflicted emotions. It was a hot piece of alien tale named Elena Daru. Elena Daru was Darth Malgus's lover and soul friend. They went on a number of cool adventures together, like the time they stormed and destroyed the Jedi Temple, and when they fought side by side in the Great Galactic War. He saved her from a life of slavery under a cruel master, and he even let her call him by his birth name, Veradun, rather than his Sith name, which I mean is like, come on, so totally cute. Everything seemed to be going great for these two, with a real forbidden love kind of thing a la Romeo and Juliet, until he decided to end the relationship by putting a lightsaber through her chest. Needless to say, it was a bad breakup. I just realized that Darth Malgus murders Elena Daru the same way in which Kylo Ren murders Han Solo. Perhaps the prophecy is true. I am the one to bring balance to the Force. The death of Elena Daru was completely necessary for Darth Malgus. It freed him from the shackles of emotions. She was a legitimate weakness of his, not just in the sense that he was kinda like totally pussy-whipped by her, but more so in that she unintentionally stood in his way of reaching his full potential as a Sith and his use of the dark side. However, after her death, which is to say, after murdering her, Darth Malgus became more powerful than he had been before, allowing him to reach a state in which he became virtually unstoppable. The connections that can be drawn between Darth Malgus and Kylo Ren at the time of The Force Awakens are similar, and completely justify the creation of a serious YouTube video discussing the topic. Much like Malgus, Kylo Ren is a deeply flawed dark side user shackled by emotions for his father, and with weaknesses preventing him from effectively using the Force. I would suggest that it's not merely the case that they made Rey strong because the plot needed her to be, or simply to crowbar in a strong female character, super powerful in the Force. Rather, Kylo Ren was defeated because he was weak in the Force. He wasn't the villain that he should have been at the time of The Force Awakens, and for good reasons. A very telling part of the movie for me was when Kylo Ren was looking for Han Solo in order to confront him, and he didn't even realize he was meters away, close enough to call out and get Kylo Ren's attention. It was Han Solo that initiated the confrontation. Contrast this to Darth Vader's ability to sense Obi-Wan's presence on the Death Star, even though he was in a completely different location. I think this scene illustrates that Kylo Ren's conflict with his emotions hinders his ability to proficiently command the Force. I, for one, welcome a flawed dark side user who struggles with the pull of the light side, because it gives his character more depth, and sets him up for an interesting arc to follow, whether it be a redemption story, or becoming a master of evil. A character who is a badass, and evil for evil's sake right out of the gate is fun, but it isn't really all that interesting. You just end up with an evil character who has to become more evil. And more evil. And more evil. I look forward to seeing how Kylo Ren's murder of Han Solo changes him, much like Darth Malgus' murder of Alina Daru caused his character to evolve. The potential payoff of a weak Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens, who sheds the emotional shackles that are the feelings he has for his father, thereby allowing him to explode in dark side power, would be exciting. And so there it is, a fully comprehensive and reasonable explanation for Kylo Ren's defeat at the end of The Force Awakens, other than simply saying he was too weak, or Rey was too strong. A dark side user who is conflicted with feelings of love and attached to emotions is shackled in their power to use the Force to their full potential. You're welcome. Although, now that I think about it, it probably was pretty important that he got shot by Chewbacca's bowcaster. Bet that could take down a Wookiee. Oh yeah, and then he had to face Finn in combat, and Finn did have a lifetime of military training. It could also turn out that Rey is Luke Skywalker's daughter, and that would make her pretty strong in the Force because she'd have a lot of those midi-chlorians. But this Darth Malgus theory is the one I'm accepting, and never letting go of, no matter how much reason and evidence is presented. For more fun Star Wars theories and discussions, why not subscribe? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like, or leaving a comment. If not for me, for Alina Daru.